Welcome, everybody. Welcome. My name is Hayden Smith, coordinator with emergency management, and I am here to walk you all through WebEOC, our incident management tool. This is a recorded video so that you all can go back and look at this at your own time, at your own convenience. And if you have any questions after watching this video and backtracking and looking at the different boards and what they're capable of doing, give me an email or phone call or text at 919-748-1464, or you can email me at hjsmith@dconc.gov. All right, so once you put in the web link, if you don't have the web link, it's pretty simple. Durham.webeoscasp.com. Once you put in that, you'll be shown the screen here where you'll put in your username and your password. If you are having trouble signing in, please let me know and we can reset that very quickly. And then you'll move on to this screen where you'll select your position and incident that you're operating under. For this, I'll be operating under a planning section chief and selecting the training incident. We want to make sure we select the training incident so that we do not impact any of the information that's on these other boards here connected to legitimate incidents. Click continue, and you'll move on to this board where you will have to put in some additional login information, your name, your phone number, and I'll make sure that you're following this format here. Some people have had issues signing in, specifically because of this, so make sure you follow that format, and then your email. Once you have successfully signed in, you'll see this screen, and this is the home page for WebEOC. So we're going to move from left to right. I'm looking at that top row there. First thing you're going to see is your email or username, your assigned position, which once again, I'm operating under planning section chief, but there's a number of other positions that are available. So you select the one that you've been assigned. We're going to be operating under the training incident for this session today. So please make sure you have selected training just to not impact any of these other incidents and the information that are on those boards for those incidents. Moving on, we've got a log out button. We have this gear, which is meant for all the administrators of WebEOC. We have this inbox feature, which I'm not a huge fan of, but we'll talk about it. Take a quick look at it. So this is a newer feature, and it was activated following the EOC functional exercises conducted back in April. This gives everyone a notification whenever a board has been updated. So it'll give you that red little icon will highlight that little box there. And then you all will be able to see significant event updates, resource requests updates, and any other boards that are active in WebEOC. So you'll click on that board or that message there. You'll see that there's been a new significant event entry. You can click open the record here, and it doesn't work the way it's supposed to, which is why I'm thinking about deactivating it, but I guess right there it is. So you click on it, and you'll be able to see exactly what was posted to that board. Not sure if that's very helpful or not, but you will get information from the significant event board, the resource request board, and I believe the road closure board as well. Those are 3 boards you are receiving inbox messages for whenever there's an update to it. So we'll keep it active for now. If you all find it helpful, let us know. If you do not find it helpful, also let us know, and we'll make the adjustments as we need to. And then moving on to the next icon up here next to the inbox is the help button. However, we don't encourage anyone to use the help button. We would like for you all to reach out directly to us, and we'll help try to troubleshoot, whatever issues you're experiencing together. And if we can't figure it out, then we'll escalate it and reach out to WebEOC support team and see if they're able to help us out. All right, now let's take a look at the boards that we're all really here for. So these are the important boards here that we're going to go through the majority of. So we'll start with the first one, the executive dashboard. All right, give us some time to update the map there. So the executive dashboard, it gives you really high-level information about Durham. What's going on in Durham? What's the state of Durham? It's basically a high-level sit rep of Durham, whether or not county offices are closed, or activation level, evacuations, whether or not we have any curfews issued. All that great information is right here to the left. And it also gives you some information about the city. It includes information about school closures, so we're looking at the universities, whether or not they're open or closed, and then also the Durham public school system. So all that information is here to the left to basically give you that executive overview of Durham. You can also see there's some shelter information here and cost overview information. This is all updated by the EOC manager or planning and section chief. So everybody has access to that board to at least be able to view it. The only folks that can edit it are EOC manager, planning and section chief, and other selected positions. Move on to the activity log board. This is a very important board that we expect everyone to maintain throughout the entirety of their shift. So the activity log board is essentially a position log. So you're just logging all the activities that's been completed during your shift. And it's only for your position. And we're going to talk about the significant event board in a second. But only people in your position are going to be able to see what you post in the activity log board. So if you're operating under planning section chief like I am, then you'll be able to see what I'm putting in there. If you're operating under a different position, you're not going to be able to see what I put in the activity log board. The activity log board is meant just for that position. So let's create an activity log entry. To create an entry, you'll hit that button I just hit earlier, and then you'll put in the date, the event type. We're going to say weather, priority level. I'm going to say advisory. In description, you're going to say checked into the EOC at 11, let's say 11:30. You can put some location information here. You can add attachments if you need to, and then you can save. All right, and then you can see that it has posted to the activity log board. So the activity log board is meant just for your position, and you're tracking all activities, all agreements, all discussions, any accidents, whatever connected to your position. You're tracking all of that in the activity log board. It's meant just for your position. So if you leave, the person that comes in after you, assuming that same position, is going to have access to your activity log board, and they're going to be able to see exactly what you put in there. They can't make any edits, but they will have visibility. And hopefully it's not any new information, because you all should have had that change of shift brief. So let's go ahead and submit an activity log entry now, or excuse me, a significant event entry. So we just submitted an activity log entry. Now we're going to submit a significant event entry. So the difference between the activity log board and the significant events board is the significant events board is meant for everybody. So it is extremely critical information that needs to be shared with the entire group. And this does not take away from face-to-face communication. I want everybody to continue to use their normal channels to communicate with folks face-to-face in the EOC or via radio, whatever the case may be. Still contact that individual. Don't just assume that because you put it in the significant events board, everybody's tracking it. But it is meant for every single position, so everybody will have the ability to view it. So you'll create the significant events entry just like you did the activity log entry. They put in the date, you can put the weather there, you can put the priority level, just put major, and then you just say, put in a great description. I'm gonna say down 3 on Broad Street, multiple injuries reported. Not very specific, but for the purpose of this training, it will suffice. Put location information here, and then you save that. And as you can see, I posted the same thing at 10:50. But once you submit that, everybody is able to see it. So everybody has access to that information, and they're able to track it and make their decisions as needed. All right, so the difference, once again, between activity log board and the significant events board: activity log is position specific, significant events board is meant for everyone. So everybody will receive that information. We expect you all to maintain both throughout an activation, and these are by far the most important boards during an activation. Whenever there's an update made to a board, I know you all will be receiving the awesome inbox message here, but you also will see a little icon, it's a little star next to the board. I'll let you know that new information has been submitted to that board. You click on that and you can see that the entry that I made about 2 minutes ago is at the top. So just for your awareness, that's what that star means. All right, let's go ahead and move on down this list. Take a look at the checklist board. So this is a board that we haven't used in the past, but now we're going to start using it. This is the board that's going to house all of the job action sheets for command staff and general staff positions in the EOC. But you can also create your own checklists. So even if you're not assigned one of these positions, you can assign your own checklist to yourself. Create it and then assign it to yourself and work off of that checklist. Or you can just use the old reliable notepad. It's up to you. But to show you all how to activate a checklist, you go down to your position checklist. You see that I'm planning section chief, so I see the planning section chief is right here. I'm going to click these three dots and hit activate. And it asks you if you want to activate that particular plan or that particular checklist, excuse me. You click yes. You're going over to my checklist. You'll see that it has been activated successfully. You click those three dots right there. You can view it in its entirety. Okay. If you want to make changes to it, you can click edit. Review common responsibilities, all personnel. You can say that we have completed that. Put in a little note, complete it. And you can do that with every single item listed on this checklist. Once again, you do not have to use this. There will be printed copies of the job action sheets. But in the event that you do want to use it, it is available to you. To create your own checklist, you can click this Create Checklist button, put in the name of that checklist. Category, I'm going to say EOC activation, but there are other options as well. Assign to, you can assign it to yourself. That's what you should do. And you'll have an asterisk next to your name, so you know exactly, or your position, so you know exactly that you're assigning it to yourself. And then a description if you want to include a description of that checklist. And as you can see, that is the checklist that's on the top. Click three dots here to edit the checklist. Add item. Give it a chance to load. And then you put in the objective. So that exact checklist item. So we can say review SOPs. Save that. Keep it putting in additional objectives that you want to complete. All right. Once again, you're gonna have to activate it to be able to see it and use it. Once you've activated that checklist, you go to my checklist, and there it is. So cool, cool option available to you all if you want to use that, but does not take away from just using the old reliable notepad. If you want to see all of the checklists that have been activated, you just are very curious, you can take a look at that. You have the opportunity to view their checklists and see what's going on. Everybody has that option. Just for your awareness, everybody can view the activated checklists and the activities that's been completed. But they can't make edits to your checklist unless they're an administrator of the templates, which there's very few positions that can do that. So that is the checklist board. We'll go ahead and move on. As you can see, since I updated that board, there is a star next to it to let me know that new information has been made to the checklist board. We're not going to take a look at controller review because that is specific to a couple positions. Let's take a look at the file library board. So we encourage everyone to store any files they have in WebEOC that are connected to the incident that they're operating under. I mean, it creates just redundancy in how we're kind of saving that information, and in case something goes down, you have that information stored in multiple places so that if you need to retrieve it for any reason, it's there, it's available for you. As you can see, we have a number of different folders that have been created. You can create your own folder by hitting the Create Folder button, put the name here, and select whether or not you want it to be a shared folder for everyone or a private folder just for you. So you're able to do that. And then it'll populate right here, and then you can save all kinds of files and documents into each of the different folders. The next board we're going to review together is the Incident Action Plan board that is the published version of the latest Incident Action Plan. So everybody will be able to view the approved and published Incident Action Plan for whatever incident we're operating under. For the purpose of this training, I have put in an example IEP, so you all are able to see what it will look like. You'll have the incident name here, the IEP title, the ops period, and then you're able to view the incident action plan. So you'll understand exactly what the objectives are, how we're organized for that particular incident, comms plan being utilized, the safety message, our battle rhythm, the meetings and briefings we have to attend. It includes all of that important information, the what, the how, and the why. Anytime the incident action plan is approved, it will be published in WebEOC for everybody to view. So I wanted to show you all that board for that reason. And the next board I want everybody to see is the press release board. There's nothing posted in this right now, but this is for whenever our public information teams publish the press releases. Whenever they are published, they will be stored in WebEOC, so everybody can view that as well here. So they're able to submit those press releases right here for everybody's awareness. Moving on down to the resource request and task assignment board. This is another board that is extremely important. Anytime you need to request resources, this is the board that you will be using. And the one thing I can tell you is just be as specific as possible. Give them as much information as you possibly can. This board is managed by the logistics section, and they are tracking all resource requests coming through. And their goal is to figure out whether or not they can meet those needs locally. And if there's no resources locally, kind of move up the chain, see what the state has, and go forward, then figure out whether or not we're able to meet the needs of that request. And if not, what other resources may help with that instead, with that particular mission. So we're going to show you all how to submit a resource request. And you can see there's a ton in here, so a lot of great examples. But you'll click this button here, Create New. You put in the mission name. A detailed description. So this is not very specific, but specific enough for the purpose of this training. But you want to let them know what you need, why you need it. So let them know the specifics. You see, I said 120 bottles of water to support EOC activation. I didn't really specify, how long the activation is for, but this also warrants face-to-face communication. I cannot say that enough. If not face-to-face, at least talk over the phone with the logistics section. You need to be able to articulate your need, why you need it, how much of it you need, and any specifics, any support items needed to make sure that resource is successfully used. All that needs to be communicated to the logistics section. So give them a very detailed description of that. Give them also a realistic priority level. So we're going to say routine here, and then time and date was submitted. Put in location information. So once again, I'm going to say Durham, EOC. Because not everybody knows where the EOC is. So be as specific as possible. Put in your contact information. I also recommend a secondary contact in case you're not available. Who else will be able to be there to receive that resource or direct them in the right location or give them more information as needed. There needs to be multiple points of contact in the event that something happens. And then include an attachment. If you want to show them where the delivery location it needs to be, give them information about, what you're looking for, an example of that resource, etc. Anything that you think will be relevant to the logistics section to support this resource request, give it to them. And then you'll hit save. And then you see it populate right here. At that point, the logistics section is able to come through here, prioritize each of these resource requests, and make changes as needed and perform follow-up as needed as well. There's some other tabs. In the event that you all want to track what's been deployed, you can click on that tab and see specifics of that deployment, the finances tied to that resource. So how much does it cost? The dashboards, like the more specific information connected to all of the resource requests. That shows you how many active requests there are, total completed, costs associated with it, anything that's overdue, etc. But once again, if you as specific as possible, stay in contact with the logistics section. Don't call them every hour, but make sure that you give them timely information and let them know how important it is. Be realistic with the timeline, and share as much information as possible to ensure a successful retrieval of that resource request. All right, moving on to the road closures board. This is another board just for everybody's awareness. They're able to see the road closures in Durham. This will be the responsibility of the situation unit leader to update. And they'll be working closely with the ops section chief to get that information and post it on here for everybody's awareness. The next board is the schedule board. And this board basically just outlines our battle rhythm for that incident. So it lets you know when we're having our briefs, when we're having our meetings, when we're having all of our meals. And this is live. So it tells you exactly when the next particular meeting, briefing, or meal is. And it'll keep rotating through this battle rhythm. And it'll also be posted in the EOC, so don't feel like you have to track it on WebEOC. I think it's convenient for folks that like stuff like this, but if you do not like stuff like this, totally understand. It will be displayed in the EOC and communicated to the entire group whenever a meeting is coming up or meals are expected to be delivered. So another board you all can take a look at. Shelter board, it's another one just for your awareness. You're able to see the different shelter sites, which just needs to be updated. And it shows you their capabilities as well, whether or not they're pet friendly, whether or not they have a generator, and their capacity limits. So if any of these were open, they'd be green. If they were full, they'd be yellow. And as you can tell right now, they're all closed. And there's also a dashboard associated with probably every board on this tool. Close some of these boards out here. All right, let's move on. Sign in, sign out board. This is something that we are not going to use at all. So don't really want anyone wasting their time on this. But if you want to just try it out, feel free to do so. Hit the sign in button. This just allows us to track who signed in, signed out. WebEOC was part of that activation. You can put your position, which you'll pull directly when you signed in. Pull it into this sign in form here. Put your location, your name, contact information, all that great stuff. It'll have you listed here, and then you're able to sign out as well. Something we're not going to use, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. We're going to sign in the old reliable way, either in person, sign in desk at the EOC, or we use some sort of QR code capture people that are part of that activation. We'll have someone assigned to making sure everyone is signed in. The last board I want to show you all, or the second to last board I want to show you all, is the situation report board. So just like the incident action plan board, where you are able to see the approved incident action plan, same goes for the SITREP board. You're able to see the approved situation report that will be shared with all city county stakeholders and executive leadership. So you're able to take a look at that, get some high level information, and then click on that attachment right there to pull up the SITREP. So y'all can take a look at that on your own time, but just want to let you all know that this board is available to you all. You probably get it through multiple means, probably through email, in person, and through WebEOC, but we're going to make sure we get the information out there to the folks that need it. The last board we're going to go through is the after action review board. So this is an opportunity for you all to submit information to all of us that tell us, how we did, what would you like to see improved, our strengths, our weaknesses, all that great stuff. So in order to do that, we don't use it enough here, but outside of WebEOC training sessions. Maybe we'll do a little more in the future. I think right now we're just using the basic, templates and in-person meetings rather than using WebEOC to capture some of that information. But I can see it being used potentially in the future to supplement some of that, or maybe at least for tracking purposes. So we'll put our name here, your phone number here, email here, organization here, priority level of the observation that you had, and then put in, what you think, and recommendation. This is important. If you have like a legitimate concern, put in your recommendation for improvement so that it's considered. I think it's important that we are not only identifying gaps and issues, but we're actually providing solutions to address those gaps that we have identified. So please be honest, put in your observation, put in your recommendation. It's not going to hurt anyone's feelings. We want your honest and truthful feedback. So please share that with us. And then once you save that, it will pull up right here, and we're able to pull it into the improvement plan and build that out as needed on WebEOC. It's great for training. It allows us to see what we need to do next time, where improvements are needed, what can make things a little bit better, maybe more engaging for the group. So we certainly appreciate all the comments received. The last thing I'll show you before closing out is this button right here. It says tab menu, and it'll show you all the different boards you have open. So if you don't want to navigate through all of them by clicking them like this, you can just click on this button here, click checklists, and it'll pull it up for you. Really helpful if you have like 20 boards open, which I don't recommend. All right, well, that concludes the WebEOC training for today. Once again, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, feel free to send me an email, hjsmith@dconc.gov, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Thank you all so much. Hope you have a good rest of your day.